Just when Memphis Grizzlies fans thought the offseason was over. Boom. A move no one saw coming. Huff is out, and Jock Landale is in. And let's just say, this has sparked a firestorm in the fanbase. Love it or hate it, this trade has split Grizz Nation right down the middle. So what's really going on here? Why did Memphis make the move? And how should fans feel about it? Stick around, because we're breaking down every angle of the Huff deal and what it means for the Grizzlies' future. And before we jump in, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss the latest NBA updates. Just when it looked like the Grizzlies were locking in their final offseason pieces, the franchise dropped a bombshell. Huff, gone. Traded to the Indiana Pacers for a second-round pick and a second-round pick swap. On the same day, Memphis signed Jock Landale, filling the newly opened spot in their big man rotation. Now, let's be clear. Huff wasn't a star, but he had his moments. And for a lot of fans, that was enough to question this deal. Why would Memphis move on from a guy who, at times, looked like a real contributor? To understand the outrage, or at least the confusion, we've got to look at Huff's role last season. Early, in the 2024-25 campaign, Huff got some solid minutes. With G.G. Jackson and Vince Williams Jr. still recovering from injuries, Huff stepped up. He spaced the floor with surprising three-point accuracy and threw down some flashy reverse dunks that got the home crowd on their feet. He was making the most of his time, giving Memphis much-needed depth while key players were sidelined. And just like that, he was benched. Once Jackson and Williams Jr. returned, Huff's minutes took a nosedive. Second half of the season, he was often not even suited up. Fans were left wondering, why? These weren't all-star level returns from the injured players. Huff had proven himself to some degree, and yet he was glued to the bench. For many, it felt like a misuse of a player who had shown value. But here's the flip side. Huff had some strengths, mainly shooting, but when it came to defense, he struggled. And for a team trying to build an identity on both ends of the floor, that's a problem. Sure, Memphis had Jaren Jackson Jr. locking things down in the paint. Jalen Wells and Scottie Pippen Jr. also provided key contributions defensively. But it takes more than just a few guys. The Grizzlies needed a deeper bench presence on defense. Huff, for all his offensive flashes, just wasn't that guy. So while the Pacers may be drawn to Huff's ability to stretch the floor and knock down shots from deep, Memphis clearly had a different priority: defensive reliability and scheme fit. Enter Jock Landale. Now let's talk about the guy who's stepping in. Jock Landale is coming off a stint with the Houston Rockets, where he wasn't exactly lighting up the scoreboard, but he made his presence felt in other ways. What stood out? His screens. Landale is known for setting hard, effective screens, something that's about to be much more important in Memphis. Why? Because the Grizzlies just brought in a new head coach, Tuomas Iisalo. If you don't know that name yet, you will. He's known for a screen-heavy offensive philosophy, and Landale fits that mold like a glove. He's not flashy. He's not putting up 20 points a night. But in a system designed around movement, spacing, and smart screens, Landale could quietly become a critical cog in the machine. And let's not forget, this wasn't just a trade and a signing. It was a transition in identity. Memphis is shifting, adapting, and building around a new vision. Still, not everyone's buying it. For every fan who appreciates the strategic pivot, there's another who's disappointed to see Huff go. The guy had become a fan favorite in some circles. His energy, his highlights, his potential. It felt like Memphis gave up on him too soon. But others argue this move shows discipline. It's about building a roster that fits a purpose, not just holding on to potential that may never materialize. It's a cold business, and sometimes tough calls have to be made. Let's be honest, Memphis wasn't just trading players. They were laying down the blueprint for the post-Taylor Jenkins era. So where does that leave the Grizzlies? With Landale on board, and Iisalo now leading the bench, we're likely going to see a new brand of basketball in Memphis. One that leans into toughness, intelligence, and off-ball movement. The flashy isolation plays might take a back seat to disciplined execution. And while Huff's absence will sting for some, this isn't about nostalgia, it's about the future. The Grizzlies aren't just reacting, they're planning, they're adjusting. They're chasing a winning formula, even if it means making unpopular moves along the way. So what do you think? Did Memphis make the right call moving on from Huff, or did they let a hidden gem slip away? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We're reading them all. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the breakdown. Subscribe to stay locked in on all things NBA, and share this video with a fellow Hoops fan who needs to hear the full story. This is the NBA. Moves like this shape legacies. And Memphis just turned the page on a new chapter. We'll be watching. See you in the next one.